what it is. Y'all know who it is. It's your boy Pharaoh, the guy always on the job. I got 5 Let's Talk. And as always, it's real talk, raw talk. And y'all know it's that time again to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell another friend, to share, like, and subscribe. Don't hide. The buttons ain't got no teeth, so go ahead and reach, support the channel, support your boy, and above all, man, support the movement. Thank everybody that's going to be here and that's here now for today. Blessing this another episode. Thank you all for indulging, taking the time out and coming rocking with me. We've been running the war report for quite some time now, and it seems like things are, I want to say, getting out of hand because they've already been out of hand. But I've always said that when they try not to expose themselves, they expose themselves. And Trump continues to wake up every morning threatening the country of Iran. You wake up every morning and there's 20 more officials from the IRGC killed or connected to the so-called regime. Now that Trump is waking up to the reality that no matter who you kill or how many you're willing to kill, we are willing to die. This is what Iran is saying to Trump and Israel and America. This is something that something that Israel and America thought was rhetoric. Thought it was just laughing banter. But now we are beginning to see who has the banter and who has the action. Everything that Trump has been saying, they're going to make a deal. The Strait of Hormouz is going to open up. We got to have our allies. All these things are blowing back into Trump's face. This war has never been on the side of Israel and or America except for when they first attacked Israel. When Israel and America first attacked Iran in the dead of the night in a secret attack. Since then, we have been seeing Israel pulverized with bombs. We see Iran officials being put to rest every day. But what has that stopped? And as I said before, this is causing the allies of America, NATO, and such groups, such organizations, to pull away from America. Because America started a war that's affecting everybody on the board, especially the European countries. Now, Trump is saying that Iran has to meet the deadline to open up the Strait of the Hormuz Strait. And now he's coming out and saying that a whole civilization will die if it doesn't get opened up. Who fucked it up? It wasn't the Iranians that was closing the Hormuz Strait down and making motherfuckers pay tolls before they got bombarded with bombs, right? It wasn't the Iranians that bombed themselves and then said, oh, well, we're just going to close the strait. No. It was America doing its America bully tactics, and it didn't work. And that's why now I'm saying Trump is going to fuck around and really find out the Hormuz Strait is going to be closed. permanently. I see the Strait of Hormuz, or the Hormuz Strait, being closed, and when it does open up, everybody's gonna have to pay the toll to go through there. Think of it. You want to come through here, you gotta pay that toll. Ain't that what they do in the Suez Canal? The Panama Canal? Ain't that what they do everywhere? But let's run this content and see what Trump is talking about today.
Begin with the looming deadline President Trump set for Iran. His warning today, a whole civilization could die tonight unless Iran agrees to reopen the critical Strait of Hormuz. The president added in the social media post that maybe something revolutionary wonderful can happen, but who knows? We will find out tonight. Now, Arwisha Zhang asked the president about what it will take to avert that threat.
In order for Iran to successfully meet your deadline tomorrow, do they have to make a deal, open the strait, or both?
We have to have a deal that's acceptable to me. And part of that deal is going to be we want free traffic of oil and everything else.
Meanwhile, Iran's regime is calling on civilians to form human chains around the country's power plants. The country's president took to social media just a short time ago, and he declared that he and 14 million other Iranians are ready to sacrifice their lives for Iran. We have team coverage of these developments. Standing by is CBS News senior foreign correspondent MTS Taya. But let's start with our White House reporter, Olivia Rinaldi. Olivia, President Trump is ramping up the rhetoric this morning, but says Iran is negotiating in good faith. So what more can you tell us about that?
Well, Mugo, he certainly is ramping up the rhetoric. At 8 a.m. this morning, he posted that Truth Social saying an entire civilization will die tonight. It will never to be brought back again. This is, of course, the president making that threat that if there is no deal...
Let me read this for a second. The gall that a president has to say something like this. When they attacked somebody. See, I was a Trump supporter because of the no foreign policy wars and, you know, peaceful and all this. He lied. What else you want me to say? I got duped like everybody else on the second go around. Okay, cool. To the motherfuckers that still want to sit up here and support Trump, and in supporting Trump, you supporting something that don't concern America? But he says a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. We are talking about genocide, annihilation, war crime. I don't want it to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change, where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail. How do you say less radical minds? You are the most radical person in this with Bibi Netanyahu. If killing a whole civilization is not radical because you want regime change, not the country, not international courts, you want regime change, you're willing to kill a whole civilization. I think where they need a regime change at is in America. Maybe something revolutionary, wonderful can happen. Who knows? We'll find out tonight. One of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. I know you're not talking about since 1948. Since Israel has been over there since 1948, taking land, extorting causing corruption and death on a mass scale. This is what the president is vibing for. And what is America getting out of this? None other than what? Some oil? So you're willing to put a whole civilization in the ground over some oil? And you tell me that we, America, are the less radical, the modernized, the most democratic? That doesn't look like democratic or sound like democratic behavior to me. That sounds like somebody that is willing to do what they have to do in order to meet their agenda. Let's deal with some of these comments real quick, man. Okay. I support add choke chain, some zesty ass shit. But okay. We voted Trump in America. Where were you? I actually supported Trump. I'm not speaking from somebody that, you feel me? I'm an American. Straight up, I'm an American. But what Trump is doing and what Trump is talking about doing, it's the same thing that what he says, that why they going over there. Oh, death to America. But Trump is cool. It's okay for Trump to say that he'll kill a whole civilization that ain't never did nothing to America. Now, we can go back in history and see that the Israeli government has interfered in American policies and politics. And nothing has happened. But America is so bent on the country that ain't never did nothing to them. Ain't even threw a rock at their car. William says, since you have been alive and that you go for all of us, we can pretend, but the truth is what you have already been ready to change. Yeah, I don't even know. Israel is a great source of, how do I pick and choose facts, Xavier? I don't pick and choose nothing. I think Xavier is kind of trolling, truly believe, but if you don't believe this is about oil, Iran is the fourth largest oil reserve in the world. The fourth largest oil reserve in the world. You have America. Well, you don't have it. I'm not in the category number-wise, no specific order. You have America, you have Venezuela, you have Saudi Arabia, you have Iran. That's with the oil. And then you look at these other countries, America had, and this is where it gets tricky, and y'all gotta understand this too. America had an exclusive rights to the oil of Saudi Arabia. If you wanted oil from Saudi Arabia, you had to buy it in American dollars. That's been going on since 1953, but that contract just got shipped to Russia. To China. America tried to go bully Venezuela out of their oil, kidnap the president. We seen how that turned out. Now they selling their oil to China. And these are exclusive rights. In order to buy Chinese and Saudi Arabian oil now, you have to buy it in Chinese dollars. And in doing so, you're going to make the Chinese economy more stronger. So if China is the enemy of America, they need to go bully somebody for some oil. Because their buddy from Saudi Arabia says, hey, I know we were friends, but now you got to buy it in Chinese yuan. America not finna do that. America knows the program. Man, I could go somewhere and punk somebody for their oil. I think, shout out to everybody that's in here, man. Please hit that like button. Please hit that like button. Especially if you're indulging in the comments. Please hit that like button. It don't cost you nothing, man. Them buttons don't bite. I think it is what we heard over the years after 9/11. 7 Muslim countries, 7 countries, 7 Muslims, 7 Muslim countries, 7 wars. You know. And a lot of people see that this information comes out, and then when they see it being activated, they be like, oh, it's AI, oh, it's fake, oh, it's not about oil. Then what the fuck is it about? Because I ain't never heard a nigga say, I want to buy that new car from Iran. I ain't never heard a nigga say, I want them new threads from Iran. If it's not about oil, then what is it about? Because you saying it's not about oil, Xavier. How is it not about oil when Iran is the 4th largest producer of oil? Man, come on. If you saying tell the whole story, tell the whole story. It's like a religious war. America and Israel don't like Muslim countries. And they always have attacked Muslim countries that started to turn their back on Western ideas. So if you want to tell the whole story, let's tell the whole story. It has been proven that the leaders of these terrorist organizations in the Middle East have been Mossad agents. A lot of these people are not even Arabic. A lot of these people are not even from the territories that they're saying that they're from. So if you want to tell the whole story, let's tell the whole story. Why are these countries only attacking Muslim countries and as if Christian countries never do anything wrong? You can at Choke Chain. I don't believe Iran is gonna relinquish the Strait. America bombing Iran behind the Strait and the oil. They messed up. They showed Iran how critical and how much monetary they can gain from charging people to come through that part of their land, which is their land by international law. So by charging them, why would Iran give that up? Iran is going to fight to the death. In America, if you really want to look at it, America can keep bombing. That America knows they have no choice left but to bomb civilization. Yes, exactly, Hiromoto. We literally just had the president calling to commit genocide and half the country is cheering for it. That is how sick you MAGAs are. I'm not a MAGA. Was I a Trump supporter? Yes, but you MAGAs, you are the reasons why this fucking rhetoric and this banter is approved of so much, because instead of reality, instead of seeing the facts, you just say, hey, if he says it's right and it's okay, we can do that. But let's tell the whole truth like Xavier said. Did not America and Israel conspire in the middle of the night to attack Iran? when his back was turned? Did they not? How do you call for peace when you start something? And now that you're losing and you're seeing that these people over here are dedicated. These people are dedicated. You killed 20 more. You killed 20, now it's 40. You killed that 40, now it's 80. And America is starting to see the problem that they have with loyalty over royalty. Them people are loyal to their country. So now the president of the so-called free world is able to say that he's willing to commit genocide in order to have his agenda played out. That's strong right there. How can I have a rational conversation, Xavier? I'm having a rational conversation with you. But when you say it's not about oil, how am I supposed to get on that agenda? It's always been about oil in the Middle East. Why? Because oil is a hot commodity. You see, as soon as war happens, what happens? The barrels of oil prices go up. I don't think he's really. And to tell you the truth about Trump, I think Trump is actually, and I'm not shy of it. I think Trump just go around, sold the country out. I think, when he accepted that $250 million from that Jewish lady, I think he sold the country out. I think he actually sold the country out and sold them down the drain, and now the American people are having to pay for it, which is not fair. By far, I don't care what president it is. Hey, thank you, truly beloved. I definitely appreciate y'all, man, for having my back, because I don't see the insults, man. I see truth. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, shout out to Richard and Ew Crosby, man. Man, hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and share, man. I appreciate it, man. There's way too many people in here for just to have 13 likes, man. I appreciate everybody taking their time to be in here, but my page is not monetized, and this is one of the reasons why it's not monetized, because I'm not going with the natural agenda. I'm not going with the natural order. I'm going to call flag on the play when it's flag on the play. I don't care who you is. I got a right and I got a left. I piss on you as soon as you piss me off, and I give you your flowers as soon as you do something wrong. But I will not support a president that is calling for the genocide of Muslims or anybody. When a war happens, a war happens. But when you get to saying, okay, fuck the infrastructure, we just gonna start killing the people because we know everybody there is loyal to you. That is genocidal madness, and it needs to be exposed. It needs to be vetted. I understand the frustration that you went over there and you tried to start a war, a secret war that you thought was going to be quick and easy. But what you ain't learned from American history is every time America says it's going to be quick and easy, it never is. Every time America says we're winning the good old fight, they never are. They never are. Trump's been sitting up here telling you what he's going to do, what Iran is going to do, and it never happens. And now he's frustrated to the point to where he's saying he's going to commit genocide against a nation. I'm not insulting nobody, Xavier. If I insult your president, You need to be insulted. If you sit up here and try to defend Trump now, and this is coming from a person that was a staunch Trump supporter. If you support Trump after this tweet that is on the screen right here, if you support this right here, I mean, shit, you deserve an insult. America, shout out to Sound, with can't see it that good, but shout out to you, man. Definitely, man. I think America's in for a big problem, man. America can't do nothing over there. The Tagan, Salamu Alaikum, man, from the mountain to the sea, Iran and Islam will be free. Allahu Akbar, inshallah. MAGA, cause they blowing the oil up back there. Give an example of what, Xavier? Shout out to Lee Harvey, man. Fuck Trump, man. Trump is, and this is what a lot of people don't even understand in America. Even for the people that voted for Trump, Trump has started something with his buddies that is costing not just the international community, but Americans. This is costing us. You see the oil going up. You see the prices of food and shit going up. All because they thought this was going to be swift and easy. Arizona Guns, man, go ahead, do your thing, man. You want to unsubscribe, man, you can do your thing. I mean, I don't mind. I ain't going to hate you. You feel me? Let's run some of this content, though.
Tonight, if the Strait of Hormuz is not reopened, he is going to start bombing their bridges and their power plants. The president saying that is a threat he is willing to make good on, even as there are questions about the legality of it, given the fact that is civilian infrastructure, and intentional targeting of civilian infrastructure can amount to a war crime if this White House does not say what exactly the nexus is between some of those bridges and power plants and the military targets. So quite notable there. We also learned that the U.S. and Israel have started bombing Kharg Island. We heard from Vice President Vance earlier today saying that was always the plan, so it doesn't amount to a change in posture. However, it is notable because that is where 90% of Iran's oil has to go through. It's a very crucial island for them and their energy supply. So that amounts to somewhat of a threat that the U.S. is willing to continue ramping up. Those two data points show that this president is serious about his threat for tonight, but of course there is still some 10 hours or so, 9 hours or so until we meet that 8 p.m. deadline. So we are waiting to see what, if any, negotiations are happening between the U.S. and Iran. We should also note that Vice President Vance is the one having some of those conversations, and he's in Hungary today, so he's not even here at the White House to have those close conversations with the president, though we do know he is in touch with the administration pretty consistently. But again, Mugo, just time will tell if a deal is made in the next several hours.
Yeah, Olivia, I want to go back just a bit because yesterday we talked about the president and his post, the post he made on Easter Sunday. We talked about criticism around that. Have we heard anything so far? Because it's kind of jarring to hear the president of the United States basically say a whole civilization will die tonight.
Yeah, the president had that press conference yesterday where he was asked, really, what's off limits, right? Is it civilian infrastructure? He said very little is off limits to him. He was also asked, the point of the negotiations that started happening between the U.S. and Iran back in February were happening because there were mass protests inside of Iran where the regime had killed nearly 40,000 people inside Iran protesting. So the question that got posed...
They love to say Iran killed 40,000 protesters. If Iran killed 40,000 protesters, Iran would be going crazy right now. Don't you think that if 40,000 people were massacred inside of Iran for protesting, there would be more protesting? It would be extremely easy for America and Israel to infiltrate, dominate, and control Iran if 40,000 people died. So you telling me 90 million people just watched 40,000 people die and said, we're all scared now. We're not scared of America, we just scared of our government. The lies. Yo, everybody is on this live right now talking about the lies that I speak of. Let's talk about the lies that Western media speaks of. Even those that speak down against Trump. You can confirm nothing going in or out of Iran or Israel. Why? Because they both have laws right now that if you post anything about, especially Israel, if you post anything online about what's going on in Israel and the damage, then you are subject for 5 years in jail. And they have said the same thing about Iran. But you're going to sit up here and tell me on the news that 40,000 protesters just died and nothing happened? Yeah, all right.
To the president yesterday was, these are people who you say have nothing to do with the regime, who are beholden to the regime, but if you start attacking that infrastructure, are you not hurting them? And he went on to say that no, he doesn't believe that, and that they actually have been telling the U.S., they have intercepted communications where Iranians have been telling the U.S. to continue bombing. Now, we have not seen that evidence, we have not seen those communications, but certainly notable that the president's saying that this is something that the will of the people of Iran really want. Although, as you pointed out in your intro, the president says that 14 million people inside of Iran, a country of 93 million people, have volunteered to fight in this war as it is ongoing.
Now, I'm going to stop right there because I want to get on that 90 million again. These 90 million people are going to support the government. So why in the fuck do you think 40,000 just got killed? Explain that to me, Xavier. All you MAGAs that's in here right now, explain that to me. If Iran lost 40,000 people in protest, why is the country not up in flames? Why are we not getting more reports that another 40,000 just died? Because it's not true. Xavier Arizona with guns said, I don't like to talk to people who make up lies. I'm unsubscribing. And you need to unsubscribe from social media. I'm one of the only ones that's willing to come out and say and speak on the things that actual Americans are thinking and tired of. We tired of being lied to. We see the news, but some people don't have the courage to accept those type of lies. Some people got to be lied to over and over and over again to get it. But me, I'm not finna wait for somebody to keep being lied to say that that's a lie. I want you to know that I Got 5 Let's Talk said that's a lie, and we standing on it. He says, Xavier said, what things has he said about Iran are not true? You saw he said Iran was willing to make a deal. Iran was going to open up the Strait of Hormouz. You see that he said he knocked out all their navy, their military. We knocked out all their missiles, their weapons, but yet Israel in the Middle East, I mean, in the Gulf and all that, is getting hit by Iran. All this is happening to Iran, Trump is saying, but yet and still Iran is pulverizing other countries. Iran has other countries on high alert. I thought this war was supposed to be over. I don't, Sandra Stigney, shout out to you, man, for the comment. What about the sleeper cells in America? Me personally, I don't believe in those sleeper cells in America. I feel that America is so intertwined with everyday civilian life, and I feel that they are, if there are sleeper cells in America, they are started, I believe. I don't have no proof of this, but I believe that they're started by Mossad. A lot of things that we are starting to see that crippled or were critical in American history, a lot of these things happened by agents of the Israeli government. The same government that we are fighting this war for. You know, they just caught one of the main terrorists over in Africa that they've been looking for, and they've been saying they've been trying to get this main terrorist for years, and come to find out that he's an Israeli Mossad agent. He's not even Arabian. He's not even Turkish. He's not Persian. He's not none of that. So you have to look like, if it isn't how does Iran get a sleeper cell in America? Because when they come over here, you don't think the government is watching them Iranians, Saudi Arabians, Pakistanians, Afghanians. You come from another country to America, the American government keeps a keen eye on you because you might be a sleeper. So I'm not saying it can't happen now, but nah, I don't really believe that. Lee Harvey, man, we could say fuck Trump, but we don't support that type of behavior. You feel me? I can't, I'm gonna have to remove that comment right there, brother. I can't have that. We can say what we want to. You feel me? We can say what we want to. It's raw talk, but we can't get to hoping somebody get hurt. You know what I'm saying? Man, hey, dog football. You talking about Iranians called for genocide against us 47 years ago. Boy, listen to you. You're talking about somebody said death to America 47 years ago, but ain't did shit to America. You've never had somebody drop a bomb from Iran on America. You never had Iranians on the plane flying planes into the whatever building. You never had Iranians on a mass scale in America doing anything. So I don't care what they said about death to America. Have they ever even done anything? You're using something to push an agenda just because they said it. Now, what about all the racist shit America has said? What about Trump calling Mexicans racists? I mean, rapists and criminals. Motherfuckers didn't find that shit cool, did they? You say shit to push an agenda, and I see you. I see you. Brandon White, man, I appreciate it, man. Hey, shout out to Brandon White, man, for that sub, man. I appreciate it, man. It's all love, man. You also read chats way delayed, so nobody can even have a reasonable debate. and you are doing it intentionally, you think like a victim, and you will be. Now you're talking. Now you want to talk about. You want to talk about insults. Um, Damn, you're calling me a victim. I appreciate it. There's no problem with being a victim sometimes, sir. But you have yet to back up anything you have said. You said it's not about oil. You said that I'm lying. You have yet to say anything. I only can read the chats that come in, and what do you think I'm gonna do? Just because I see the chat, I'm gonna jump all the way down. Let me give everybody a chance. Everybody is in here, so let me try to give everybody a chance. Xavier, just type how you feel, your comment, your facts, and I'm gonna read it and I'm gonna respond on it. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican, Xavier. I understand, Tree Rogie. I understand. Another Orange Man bad stream. We get it, streamer. You hate America. I don't hate America, Brad. I don't hate America. I love America. I think that's the point of being American. That's the point of freedom of speech. If I feel you doing something wrong, then you doing something wrong. But Brad, I mean, I know you're Caucasian. I understand how, that ancestral pig mentality is filtering your mind. I feel like this is, that you feel like this is your land. You're one of those that this is America and it's white, and I understand, but that ain't true neither, Brad. Yeah, truly believe. I can't see how this. Believed you. Yeah, Brad just trolling. I don't hate my country. If I hate my country, I wouldn't be trying to sit here without getting paid and speak to my country about what's wrong with my country. That is the best thing about this country that people want to take away, and that's the freedom of speech. I have the right to criticize you. If you get on television promoting a narrative or pushing an agenda, I have the right to speak out about that. But Brad here wants to be a slave driver. Brad here wants you to just shut up and do what good old Trump says do. Yeah, I understand you. I ain't gonna do it though, and I ain't going for it, and I don't want my American community to go for it. For nothing. Gala. Man, these words too small, man. I'm off the phone right now. I ain't even on the other tablet. You know why? Masood offshore? Because they want to push that agenda. It's not like Benjamin Netanyahu didn't tell us. It's not like he didn't say, oh, I just want to buy TikTok, or I want my friends to try to buy TikTok just to buy them. He didn't say that. He told you what he was going to do. I want to push my narrative. I want to push back. I want to have a voice in America to push my narrative. I want to be able, if anybody say anything wrong about what we're doing, we're going to take them and we're going to take their platform, we're going to take their voice, and we're going to delete it off the metaverse. It's not like he sat up there and said, oh, well, I'm going to think about what I'm going to do. He did it. brag. That's the thing. You never wanted to be about race. But you want this to be your country, though, right? So, all right, I'm done with you, Brad. Have a nice day. Oh, okay, man. Hey, shout out to my people from Galapagos, man. I definitely appreciate you for tapping in, man. Everybody that's here, the trolls, the naysayer, the Trump supporters, this is a podcast, whether you believe it or not, where you can say how you feel. Only thing I'm not going for is for you threatening or hoping for other people's lives to be getting hurt or anything of that nature. I don't tolerate that, but what we do here on this podcast, we keep it fair like a California bear. We not California raisins. We ain't doing no hating. If you got something to say, put it in the comments and wait your turn till I get to it. It's just me. It's just me. But I do want to say to all of y'all, man, I appreciate y'all for taking the time in to tune in, tap in, and indulge, man. I definitely appreciate it. Okay, Brad, whatever. Truly believed you. I definitely appreciate your comment, man. You said it before. We gonna see who gonna lose in the end, but Brad can't see how America is losing. Brad can't see that. Let's finish running this content though, man. You feel me? President need to pray for his damn self.
So notable there from the president that he says he does have the support of the Iranian people while threatening to bomb their infrastructure.
Right, which they need to live their daily life. Olivia, let's talk about what you mentioned earlier, Karg Island. We know U.S. forces have hit military targets on Iran's Karg Island. Can you talk about what that could signify?
Parents of children who play Roblox.
About what that could signify.
Well, could potentially be an escalation, but as we heard from the vice president, he says that was always the plan, which I thought was pretty revealing for him to say. But it's a very small island, it's not very big, and these were targeted strikes that hit some of the military strikes, the military goals from earlier in March when they were hit and struck there, which was an escalation back then, still remains an escalation today for them to continue hitting that infrastructure. They did not hit any of the oil or energy infrastructure, we're told, at least not intentionally, but certainly at this point, as the U.S. continues to hit, and Israel as well, continues to hit, targets inside of Iran, any of it amounts to an escalation, especially with the president's escalating rhetoric on Truth Social.
Right. Okay. Olivia Rinaldi outside the White House for us today, as always. Thank you so much. And now let's turn to CBS News senior foreign correspondent Imtiaz Tayyip, who's live in Doha for us today. Imtiaz, Iran is asking civilians to put themselves in the path of possible U.S. attacks. Could that give the U.S. pause in all this, and what could come next?
Yeah, we've heard from the Iranian president, Masoud Pezeshkian, in that social media post, which I'll read back out again, in which he says, and I'm quoting here, over 14 million proud Iranians have, up to this moment, declared their readiness to sacrifice their lives in defense of Iran. I too have been, am, and will be a sacrificer for Iran. We have to remember, Iran is a country of 90 million people. It is 2.5 times the size of Texas. It is a country which has thousands of years of history. And I think what the Iranian president is evoking here is that We know many Iranians are very unhappy with their leadership. Some outright hate their leadership, but they have now been under U.S. and Israeli bombardment into the 6th week. And now we're hearing and reading that tweet from President Trump about destroying their civilization, killing their civilization. Many Iranians who had hoped that this could see a change in their country now feel like this is a war being perpetrated against them and their country. And while, yes, again, I want to keep reiterating, there are many people in Iran who absolutely are opposed to their leadership, opposed to the entire system in which they believe have been so oppressive to them for so long, will stand up, I think, and will try to defend what they see as the basis of their country, of their nation. That 14 million number, none of us can verify that, if that's going to be something that we're actually going to see materialize, but I think it really just underscores the fact that the people of Iran remain under extraordinary threat as this war continues. Now, some are also accusing the Iranian leadership of using civilians as effectively human shields, but whatever the case, we are looking at war crimes upon potential war crimes. The targeting of civilian infrastructures is illegal under international laws. The use of human shields is also illegal under international law. So a very dire situation we're seeing tonight in Iran.
And MTS, I want to dive deeper into what you said earlier. We know many Iranians, they wanted regime change, and they even welcomed President Trump's support. But if the president follows through on his threat, would that change the support he's received from those Iranians?
I think we're already seeing it, if I'm really honest with you. It has been extraordinarily difficult to get information outside of Iran. We have to remember this is a country which is not under bombardment. It has also seen its internet effectively shut off by its leadership. And that really has made it incredibly difficult for us to get a real sense of what's happening on the ground inside Iran. We are still able to contact some people. We're able to get information in dribs and drabs. And it does seem that many Iranians are feeling that maybe this war could have seen the leadership in which many want to see gone have weakened, but others now see it as they are alone, and that the U.S. and Israeli strikes have targeted far too many civilian sites, and they find it hard to see how this is going to help them with their liberation. And so one would imagine if President Trump's threats do materialize overnight, and we do see that Iran's power infrastructure is effectively obliterated, we see more bridges being destroyed, many Iranians will see that as a war on them, and I suspect that that'll harden their support against any attempts to try to dislodge this leadership, which so many have been calling to be removed for so long.
Okay, MTS Tayeb in Doha for us today. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
When I started my record label, the business side.
Two tankers made their move toward Hormuz when
Let me deal with some of these comments before we go on to the next topic, man. Truly blessed. I made you truly believed you. I made you a moderator, man. These trolls is coming in with too much. Hey, look, man, I don't like Trump neither. But look here, though, man. We're going to have to slow down with the F Trump so much. You feel me? Now, I don't like to ban people, block people. I'm not with that. But we here to talk. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like Trump, that's cool. You can put it in the comments. But just to spam the comments with the F Trump, like, come on, man. Y'all know I'm cool with it, but, you know, cut it out. You know what I'm saying? Bring it down to a minimum. Hammer, you know what? I think that think it's really hard to say because I'm on two different levels. I feel like, you know, it should be somebody that runs the country, but also people should be left alone to run they states the way they want to. You feel me? But the next president, man, to tell you the truth right now, Hammer, I don't even know. I have to get back to you on that one. Yes, please do arrest that. Please do arrest him. Man, he says words, please. That's real. All right. But we just saw about Trump threatening to take out a whole civilization. And this is how weird the world is, especially those that vote for Trump. We just watched this man put out a tweet earlier today threatening to commit homicidal, genocidal behavior against the whole country because they're losing a war and they're not getting what they want. And we seen people in the comments be okay with that and defend that as if that's humanistic behavior or as if that's having morals. This is why I say the Strait of Hormuz will be closed indefinitely, permanently, until the ending of this war. Why? Because Trump and his friends are making it worse on themselves. Now that they realize they can kill everybody within the regime, somebody's going to be there 20 seconds later to take their spot. And now Trump has wrestled with this and he sees that he can't fight this. Our president of the quote-unquote free world is openly talking about committing genocide. And you have people in the chat that are actually cool with this, y'all. This is why I do it. I always say they're going to expose themselves trying not to expose themselves. People that are down with this homicidal behavior have been pigmentationalized. Pigmentationalized means it's just you're like a pig. Anything they throw down in front of you, you eat it up like slop. And when Trump says he's going to commit genocide, you see who the pigs are. They have a pigmentationalized mentality. Let's run this content up.
Something happened today that most analysts completely missed. Two liquefied natural gas tankers, the Aldayan and the Rashida, quietly loaded up in Qatar, pointed themselves toward the Strait of Hormuz, and started moving east. For a brief moment, it looked like the first Gulf energy exports since this war began might actually make it through. Then, without explanation, both ships slowed down, turned around, and headed back. Bloomberg confirmed the U-turn in real time using ship tracking data. And here's the thing, that U-turn isn't a story about tankers. It's a live readout of whether a secret peace deal is collapsing in real time. And what's happening behind closed doors right now is far more dangerous and far more consequential than anything being reported in the headlines. The Strait as a scoreboard. Strait of Hormuz map. Before we get into what's actually being negotiated, you need to understand why the Strait of Hormuz has become the most important 21 miles of water on the planet. Since late February, when the U.S. and Israel launched joint strikes on Iran, Traffic through the Strait has been brought to a near standstill.
I was too ashamed to talk to people and be around people because of the movements. They were so embarrassing. When I started taking Austedo, my hands started smoothing out where they weren't tapping so much.
Austedo XR is a prescription medicine used to treat tardive dyskinesia in adults.
I would tell somebody that had uncontrollable movements to go and get or tardive dyskinesia.
Austedo XR can cause depression, suicidal thoughts, or actions in patients with Huntington's disease. Pay close attention to and call your doctor if you become depressed, have sudden changes in mood, or have suicidal thoughts. Don't take if you have liver problems, are taking reserpine, tetrabenazine, or valbenazine. Austedo XR may cause irregular or fast heartbeat or abnormal movements. Seek help for fever, stiff muscles, problems thinking or sweating. Common side effects include inflammation of the nose and throat, insomnia, and sleepiness. Your uncontrollable movements could be tardive dyskinesia. Ask your doctor about how Austedo XR may help.
And Qatar, which runs the world's largest LNG export facility at Ras Laffan, shut down production entirely after an Iranian drone strike hit the complex, sending European gas prices surging more than 54% in a single day. Goldman Sachs warned that if the closure held for just 1 month, European energy costs could more than double. So when those 2 tankers made their move toward Hormuz today, it wasn't routine cargo shipping. It was a signal, a test balloon if Iran would allow passage. Iraq's oil tankers had reportedly been given a pass earlier, which raised the question, was Qatar next? The answer, at least for now, is no. And that U-turn tells you everything you need to know about where the negotiations actually stand. Trump's ultimatum, scorched earth or a deal. Here's where this gets explosive. According to multiple reports, Trump issued Iran a hard deadline. Open the Strait of Hormuz or face consequences that go far beyond anything seen so far. He specifically threatened to destroy Iran's energy infrastructure, blow up bridges, obliterate the Iranian economy, and even seize Iranian oil. When the Wall Street Journal pressed him on whether that kind of economic destruction would hurt ordinary Iranians, the very people he claimed to be liberating, Trump's answer was blunt and frankly politically calculated. He said the Iranian people themselves want this, that they're living in hell already, and they understand exactly what he's doing. Whether you believe that or not, it's a striking statement for a sitting president to make, and it reveals something important. Trump is not bluffing. He genuinely believes military and economic pressure is the fastest path to forcing Iran's hand at the table. But here's the contradiction that nobody is squaring. Trump has simultaneously put a massive, arguably generous offer on the table for Iran. And understanding that offer is the key to understanding why this war hasn't ended. It might be about to escalate dramatically. Pakistan's back channel, the 2-phase peace plan. What most people don't know is that the United States has been running a quiet diplomatic track through Pakistan. Pakistan's civil and military leadership, including Army Chief Field Marshal Asim Munir, who held a direct call with Trump confirmed by the White House, has been relaying proposals between Washington and Tehran. Islamabad is positioning itself as the bridge between 2 parties who refuse to talk directly, and it's been pitching itself as a potential host for formal talks. The framework that emerged involves 2 phases. In the first phase, within 24 hours of an agreement, the U.S. halts all hostile military operations, and Iran reopens the Strait of Hormuz. That's the immediate ceasefire. In the second phase, spanning roughly 25 days of structured negotiations, Iran would agree to abandon its nuclear program and dismantle its nuclear ambitions entirely. In exchange, the U.S. would lift all sanctions on Iran, every single one. Think about how significant that is. Trump, the same man who spent years hammering Joe Biden for using frozen Iranian funds to secure hostage exchanges, is now reportedly offering to wipe the entire sanctions regime clean. Iran's response? They rejected a 15-point version of the U.S. proposal as excessive, unreasonable, and unrealistic. Iran's foreign ministry publicly denied that any direct negotiations were taking place. So you have this bizarre situation where America is dangling one of the most generous offers it's ever put to Tehran, while simultaneously threatening to tear the country apart if that offer is refused. That's Trump's negotiating playbook in its purest form. Maximum pressure paired with maximum incentive, with the clock visibly ticking. Israel's parallel war, the 40 spy cells, and the decapitation campaign. While this diplomatic chess match plays out, Israel has been running its own completely separate campaign, and it's operating on a completely different logic. Israel isn't waiting for a deal. Israel is trying to destroy as much of Iran's military and intelligence infrastructure as possible before any ceasefire can lock in a status quo. Just yesterday, Israel confirmed the assassination of Majid Kademi, the intelligence chief of Iran's Revolutionary Guards. The IDF stated he was killed in a precision strike and simultaneously announced the elimination of Asghar Bagheri, the Quds Force's Special Operations Commander.
I'm Steve Ballmer.
That's two of Iran's most senior intelligence figures killed in a single operation. According to the IDF, Kademi was deeply involved in attempts to penetrate U.S. systems, including efforts to breach the Pentagon, and had coordinated extensively with Russia. His killing was not random. It was specifically motivated by the discovery of 40 Iranian spy cells operating inside Israel, all of them composed of Israeli citizens, not dual nationals, not foreign agents. Actual Jewish Israelis who had been recruited to work for Tehran. The revelation sent shockwaves through Israeli intelligence. It meant Iran had built a spy network from the inside out, and someone at the top had been running it. And then there's the economic warfare. On the same day, Israel struck Iran's Asaluya petrochemical complex, the largest petrochemical facility in the country, responsible for approximately 50% of Iran's domestic petrochemical production and around 85% of its petrochemical exports. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz called it a severe economic blow to Tehran. The facility sits adjacent to the South Pars gas field, the world's largest offshore gas reservoir. Hitting Asaluya wasn't just symbolic. It was a calculated attempt to strangle one of the last functioning revenue streams, keeping Iran's economy from total collapse. This is the pattern analysts keep noting. Israel has shifted from targeting geographic zones to targeting high-value assets specifically, the most strategically critical leaders, the most economically vital infrastructure. It's no longer about controlling territory. It's about maximum damage in minimum time before any diplomatic window closes. How Netanyahu steered Trump into this war. Now for the part that's genuinely uncomfortable to discuss, because it gets into the internal dynamics of how America's most consequential military decision in years actually got made. The New York Times, citing American and Israeli officials, diplomats, lawmakers, and intelligence figures, reported that Netanyahu played a central role in steering Trump toward war with Iran, personally lobbying the White House for months, and working to ensure that diplomatic talks did not derail plans for a military offensive. The process reportedly began in December at Mar-a-Lago, when Netanyahu sought Trump's permission for Israel to strike Iran's missile sites. 2 months later, he got something far bigger, a full American partnership. The Guardian, building on reporting by The Atlantic, went further, revealing what Netanyahu reportedly told Trump in private. According to sourced accounts, Netanyahu told Trump that attacking Iran would cement his place in history, that the war would be over in a week, that Mossad had the capability to spark an internal revolution inside Iran, and most critically, that if Trump eliminated the Iranian threat, Israel would become militarily self-sufficient within 10 years and no longer dependent on American weapons and aid. That last point is remarkable. Netanyahu reportedly made this pitch directly to American senators as well, publicly framing Israeli military independence as a gift to American taxpayers. Here's the irony the same reporting surfaces. J.D. Vance reportedly didn't buy any of it. He found Netanyahu's arguments unconvincing. But Trump? According to the Times, Trump's own words reveal the reality. Toward the end of the negotiation, I realized these guys weren't going to get there. I said, let's just do it. So the question of whether Netanyahu manipulated Trump is, in a sense, the wrong question. Trump wanted to strike Iran. He had wanted to since at least the Venezuela operation gave him confidence in American military reach. Netanyahu's lobbying didn't create that desire, it confirmed it. What Netanyahu did was give Trump the framing, the optimism, and the political cover to move forward with something he already wanted to do. And now, 3 months in, neither side knows how to end it. Iran's hidden collapse, the AI video that exposed everything, that barely made Western headlines, but it may be the most revealing data point about Iran's actual state right now. An AI-generated video surfaced purporting to show Mojtaba Khamenei, the son of the late supreme leader and the presumptive figure of authority in post-war Iran, entering a military bunker and addressing commanders. The video was clearly intended to project strength and continuity of leadership. It backfired spectacularly. American intelligence analysts immediately flagged the video as AI-generated, and the broader observation it confirmed, that Mojtaba Khamenei appears unable to make live, recorded public statements, that his official communications have been written text read aloud by broadcasters rather than personal addresses, deepened concerns about whether there is any functional central authority directing Iran at this point.
In emergencies, don't wait for a
whether there is any functional central authority directing Iran at this point. This isn't a minor PR problem. When a government has to fabricate evidence of its own leader's existence, you're no longer talking about a weakened adversary. You're talking about something approaching governmental disintegration. Iran's leadership has been systematically decapitated since the beginning of the conflict. The list of senior IRGC and intelligence ministry officials killed since late February reads like a roster of the entire top tier of Iran's security apparatus. And yet, and this is the crucial paradox, Iran hasn't opened the Strait of Hormuz. An apparently collapsing state is still holding the single most valuable piece of leverage it has and showing no signs of surrendering it. The Gulf states' calculated silence. Amid all this, there's one story that's gotten almost no attention. The fact that Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Kuwait, and the other Gulf states have stayed out of this war entirely. And according to several analysts, That might be the smartest geopolitical decision of 2026. The reasoning is straightforward, and one analyst laid it out clearly. Saudi Arabia has its east-west pipeline, which can route oil exports through the Red Sea, bypassing Hormuz entirely. The UAE has Fujairah Port on the Gulf of Oman, outside the Strait's choke point. Even Iraq has been routing some of its oil through Syria and out via Mediterranean terminals. These are expensive workarounds, but they're manageable. The alternative, entering the war directly, would mean absorbing Iranian missile strikes from less than 200 kilometers away. Unlike Israel, which sits roughly 1,500 kilometers from Iran and can sometimes intercept incoming missiles, the Gulf states are practically next door. Iranian ballistic missiles would arrive with almost no warning time. The calculus is clear. Stay out, absorb some economic pain, and let America handle the heavy lifting. There's been American pressure on Gulf capitals to get more directly involved. They've all said no. And from a pure self-interest standpoint, it's hard to argue with them. The Karg Island Gambit, Trump's strategy. So where does this end? If Iran refuses the Pakistani brokered deal, if the 48-hour deadline passes without an agreement, what does Trump actually do next? This is the question analysts have been wrestling with, and the answer points toward one specific piece of geography: Karg Island. It's Iran's primary oil export hub, sitting in the Persian Gulf, responsible for the vast majority of Iranian crude exports. On March 13th, Trump announced that the U.S. military had totally obliterated every military target on the island in what he called one of the most powerful bombing raids in the history of the Middle East, while deliberately sparing the oil infrastructure itself, citing reasons of decency. He then immediately threatened to immediately reconsider that restraint if Iran didn't reopen Hormuz. Since then, reports from Reuters, Axios, and The Guardian confirmed that the Trump administration has been actively weighing whether to send ground forces to physically occupy or blockade Karg Island. 2 contingents of Marines have reportedly been positioned in the region, and the Pentagon has been planning to send thousands of airborne troops to give Trump more options. A White House official told the BBC bluntly, "The United States military can take out Karg Island at any time." But here's the military analyst's counter-argument, and it's compelling. Taking Karg Island isn't the hard part. The hard part is staying there. Once American forces occupy the island, they become a fixed, isolated target, surrounded by Iranian missile batteries, drone swarms, and a regime with nothing left to lose. You can seize an island in a day. You can't leave it without declaring defeat. And Iran could simply keep the Strait of Hormuz closed anyway, because Hormuz and Karg Island are 2 separate leverage points. Seizing one doesn't automatically unlock the other. The analyst community is essentially divided between those who think the occupation threat is a legitimate Trump escalation tool, and those who think it's a trap Iran would be perfectly happy to let America walk into: the 48-hour window. Here's where everything stands right now, and why the next 2 days matter more than the previous 6 weeks combined. The Qatar-tanker U-turn this morning is a real-time signal that the negotiations are not progressing smoothly. The Strait briefly saw its highest traffic volume since the war began. 21 vessels transited recently under what appear to be country-specific safe passage agreements with India, Iraq, and a few others. But Qatar's gas, which Europe desperately needs, is still locked in. European energy markets are watching this hour by hour. At the same time, Trump's deadline is running out. Iran has publicly denied that any direct talks are happening. Israel just killed Iran's top intelligence chief and destroyed the country's largest petrochemical complex in the same 24-hour window. And Pakistan is still trying to broker a framework that Iran has already rejected once. There are really only two paths from here. Either something shifts in the back-channel negotiations, Iran signals some flexibility, America softens some demand, and Pakistan finds a formula that gives both sides enough cover to step back. Or Trump follows through on his threats, escalates against Iran's energy infrastructure, and we enter a phase of this conflict that makes everything so far look like a warm-up. The stakes for Europe are direct and immediate. Every day the Strait stays closed is another day of energy market instability, rising prices, and supply anxiety that no European government can fully insulate its citizens from. The uncomfortable truth at the center of all of this is that America entered this war believing it would end in a week. It hasn't ended in 6. The deal Pakistan is carrying right now might actually be better than what comes next, and yet it's still sitting unsigned. Whether Iran's battered, barely functioning leadership has the coherence and the nerve to accept it before the window closes completely may be the most consequential unanswered question in the world right now.
Gucci planted that seed itself, man. You know what it is.
Hey, y'all know what it is. Y'all know who it is, man. It's your boy Pharaoh, the guy always on the job. I got 5 Let's Talk, and as always, it's real talk, raw talk. And it's that time again to bring this to another close, man. I appreciate everybody that tuned in today, man. Shout out to everybody that voted for Trump, man. You know, we as Americans, we have to find some type of conversation to have, or just to, you know, not be offended by somebody that has an opposite belief of us. That's the framework of freedom of speech, man. The framework is to free your own dome, to have your own intuitions, to think for self. If I said anything today that offended anybody or rubbed anybody the wrong way, my apologies as a man, my sincerest apologies. I did not mean to offend you. I probably was just over passionate at the moment. But if I said anything that was of substance, I said anything that was good, or led somebody to think in a different manner, or just to research, that came from God, man. That's not me. Like I said, man, I'm only here just to try to talk about it. And whatever good come from it, come from the man up above, man. I appreciate everybody being here today. Support the channel. Support your boy. Above all, man. Support the movement. Y'all know the motto, man. Take care of each other. And if you can't